All right, we are live. Hello, hello, hello. Happy Saturday, everyone. I'm super excited to be here with you this evening. And yes, you're probably wondering, you're going to get to see me again. Yes, I was only live about maybe 2 hours ago where I did a connection and collaboration. However, this one's a little different. For those of you who've been following me regularly and following our amazing speakers from the Cosmic Evolution Summit, well, tonight is the third part of that amazing summit. We have the Cosmic Evolution panel discussion that's going to be taking place. Before I dive in, let me just take a moment to introduce myself. I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I'm the founder of Holistic Fitness and Why. I'm your certified holistic personal trainer, holistic integrative teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. My cards don't want to come out of the box today, but that's okay. They're going to stay there for now. Maybe at some point I'll pull them out and we'll pull a card. In any case, I'm going to ask that you take a moment to just share this out with everybody. I'm going to make sure we are streaming mostly on Facebook, and then I'll come back and share it on. Click on my YouTube page. We are streaming on 3 platforms. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So be aware we are everywhere. Isn't that exciting? And now I'm sharing it out to my different groups. Please go ahead and share it out to your groups as well. To all my speakers, share it out. And what I'm going to be doing one by one, I'm going to bring each speaker on so they can introduce themselves until we get them all on. And I'm going to start in the order that they are on the bottom of my page. So I'm going to bring PJ up first. Let's bring her up so she can introduce herself. PJ, go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, who you serve, and we'll bring on the next one from there.
Hello, my name is PJ. I am a trauma-informed holistic motivational coach. I serve individuals who struggled and who are overcoming trauma, any type of trauma, physical abuse, mental, medical, any type of trauma, depression. I am here to help use my story of overcoming and resilience to help you overcome and become resilient in your own healing journey. Long story short, so that's who I am, and I serve you.
There you go. I love it. With each person who's coming on, gives me a little chance to type in some information. Gonna bring on our next one, Miss Tammy. Hello, Miss Tammy. How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing well. As I had PJ do, introduce yourself. Tell us who you serve and who you are.
Hi, everyone. My name's Tammy Moses, and I am a hoarding resolution consultant and podcast host of the Hoarding Solution. And I serve people that are struggling with family members that have hoarding issues and agencies and entities that are looking for ways to resolve those issues. So happy to be here and joining the panel.
All right. Our next one up is Miss Abby White.
Hi, everyone. My name is Abigail White. I am a medical intuitive. I'm a registered nurse, and I'm a peak performance consultant. And I am here to help those who want to achieve 1% status, who are here saying, you know what, I'm meant for more. I want it all. Let's do this. Let's go. And how do I make it so that my body doesn't fail me, so that my spirit doesn't fail me, so my mind doesn't fail me? So welcome.
Excellent. And we're going to bring Miss Kitty up. Hello, Miss Kitty.
Hi, I'm Kitty Budawake Faust. I call myself the storytelling astrologist, reader of the stars, and I help people understand the map that they signed up to bring to navigate and be a hero in their own life. And I serve people that are interested in astrology.
Awesome. Welcome. All right. Miss Linda Boney. How are you, my love? Can you hear us?
You.
Hi. How are you? Introduce yourself. Tell us who you serve and what you do.
My name is Linda Boney. I'm a certified Feng Shui consultant. My business name is Feng Shui Inspirations. My tagline is Get Inspired, Move Forward. And I serve clients who would like to improve their space, and setting their space up for success.
Awesome. Love it, love it, love it. Well, so far we have 5 out of about 6 speakers here, waiting on one more to stroll in. However, we're not going to sit around and wait. When she pops in, she'll pop in. Anyway, I'm really excited to be here. And the whole purpose of today is to literally have a panel discussion based on the Cosmic Evolution Summit that took place, oh my God, a week ago, I think it is. So we're going to go around the room. Hopefully each and every one of you had an opportunity to watch or listen to each other's talk. And we're going to see what shows up for each and every one of us. So first off the bat, what I like to just put out there and kind of see if each and every one of you saw this as well in regards to the word joy. Considering every one of you who spoke had very different topics. We've had from trauma to decluttering, feng shui, astrology, medical intuitive, and the word joy. Oh my God, every one of you spoke about the word joy in your conversation. Every one of you. I was like, oh my God, every one of you. So PJ, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit what joy means to you based on your journey that you were on based on your talk.
Joy to me means peace and healing. I dealt with a lot of trauma. So joy to me means self-love, learning how to embrace the unknown and being accepting of my past and my story and my journey and my purpose, and loving myself and being happy and grateful for everything that I have accomplished, everything I have achieved, everything I'm going to achieve, because I know that there is not one specific definition for that word. I have to make my own joy. So that's kind of what that means to me. It means to live in the moment, be grateful and affirm of who I am and happy about what's coming, and grateful for my life.
I love that. And Tammy, for you, what does joy mean?
I find it has a lot to do with, similar to PJ, what PJ is saying as far as peace goes. But I also think it's about freedom to do what you want to do on a regular basis, who you want to spend time with. But I also think, for me, just part of my journey is kind of detaching from other people's opinions, thoughts, and just being joyful in the moment, no matter what else is going on. That's not always easy to achieve, I realize, but just, I guess, and being content and confident in who you are. And that's taken me many years to get to here.
I love that. And Abby, how about for you? Joy based on your topic and what it just means for you.
Yeah, so for me, I probably take joy in a little bit of a different way than others do, particularly in this panel, just because of the work that I do. And being that I am all about understanding the body and its communication with our energetic body, emotions are how our energetic body and our physical body communicate. And so I take it quite literally. And I take it in the very definitioned form. Joy is a very deep and long-lasting form of happiness, whereas happiness can be so fleeting. It can be, oh, I'm really happy that happened. And then that thing that made you happy goes away and you're no longer necessarily feeling that. Whereas joy is much more deep-seated. And so when I am feeling that, and I'm asking myself that question, when do I feel joy? When do I have joy present in myself? It really is when I think about the fact that I get to do the work that I do, that I got to this point in my life, and my soul's mission is absolutely at the front of everything that I do, whether I'm in the hospital or working in my business. And that's joy. That's lasting to me. And so that would be the way that I would explain that for me.
And I love that. I love how you embody joy, which is so beautiful. So thank you. Kitty, how about for you, based on your topic and as a storyteller, astrologist, how does joy fit into your world?
Joy energy of unbridled bliss. It is the gateway that brings us into bliss, and it's in a purity. It's in a almost an angelic way that we access happiness. And as it was said, it is not a fleeting thing. Joy is a way of being. It is being in touch with that energy that is so expansive.
Perfectly said. Love it. And Linda, bringing joy into feng shui. How does that work for you?
Well, joy is actually one of my values that I embody, and with my clients, I just love to see their expressions of joy when their problems are solved, when the problems they're having, if there's being blockages in their life, that they are able to be released, that they see clarity, that they are able to achieve their goals, and then everything is really happy at that point.
I love that. Awesome. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just go around the room, and like I said, hopefully each and every one of you had a chance. Go ahead.
How do you see joy, Joanne? You don't get out of this.
Kitty always throws me under the bus. There we go. How do I see joy? Well, doing what I'm doing, being able to be surrounded by amazing women who empower, who uplift, who inspire one another is what really brings me joy. It's the excitement of knowing that we have this platform, every one of us. I mean, none of us are in the same area. So every one of us has this opportunity to connect on a much larger scale to share the wisdom that we're sharing. And this brings a lot of joy into my day. Makes me very excited. And to know that we did this. Now, I can't remember if I chose this date purposely, if I chose this date intuitively, or if I looked on the calendar and said, you know what, let's do this on the 22nd. But this is a day where we are all master builders. We are all building something from our stories, and we're helping other people who are watching us build their stories. So that's where my joy comes in. So Kitty, thank you for throwing me under the bus. I appreciate you. Yes, thumbs up to her too, yes. So we're going to move into, and since she chose to throw me under the bus, I'm going to start with Kitty. Kitty, what was something upon watching other people's talks, what was something that showed up for you that seemed to be the common word that everyone used, if there was one for you?
I think it's the recognition, the drive, the connection that every one of the people here wanting to help others connect to things that they had connected to, and in different ways, and unfolding. And the energy around that makes all of our stories live in other people and connect to it. It's that whole energy, that cosmic energy that we take a look at. And so it's so much fun to listen to people be so excited and sharing their own bliss, their own energy, and wanting to make connections with whoever shows up, and letting that go as they come. So that's what I noticed.
Excellent. Love that.
And I love listening to you guys, by the way. Yay. So.
Yes, every one of you shared some amazing inspiration and allowing yourselves to actually be seen. So on that note, PJ, for you, what was something that stood out when listening to the other speakers?
I mean, everybody all had a desire to help uplift the people that they serve. Nothing that anyone does is for themselves. Like, we all have our own trauma, well, not our own trauma, our own stories and our own reasons for being where we are. And everyone decides that they're going to use their gifts and talents to bless someone else to be uplifting in themselves. I didn't watch every single one of you. I'm trying to think of, she's not here. There's the one that's not here. I didn't watch her, so I don't know what she spoke about, but I know that I'm sure that she was the same. Like, everyone had the desire to help their community, their I'm sorry, that kind of caught me off guard. I didn't expect that question, but I love to see that everyone's goal is all the same, and it's to uplift and empower and help to build each other up and see confidence in themselves through them, through you guys, through us, I say.
Perfect. Love that. And Linda, how about for you? I know you were away on vacation, so I'm not sure if you had a chance to get a chance to. And if not, no worries. You can either, from what you did, get a chance to listen to, and if not, we can pass and move on to somebody else. Let me know.
I got to hear some, but not all of everybody's. But I can just see the collective of I agree with Katie, the drive and the passion that everyone has in serving our community, the women or the men that we serve, the people that we want to work with, and helping everybody achieve the results that they're looking to do.
Yes, love that. And I think that is really the common of all of you, is just like PJ said, it's all of you coming together individually, sharing something that's inspiring. Abby, what are your thoughts? What showed up for you?
Really just everybody's courage to be able to do it. Not everybody can do something like this. Certainly telling their story, certainly being able to say, you know, I've sat with my work, with my story, with my experience for long enough that I was able to distill it down into its most powerful components, and to be able to actually spread that with efficiency and with power and with respect for everybody, not just those who were in their experience with them, but also, you know, being able to bring people into their experience in a very loving and thoughtful way is very evident across all of us as speakers. So well done, everybody. It was wonderful to be able to participate in this. Thank you.
Yes. And Tammy, for you, what stood out?
I think there's a lot of resilience here. Every person has a story of survival, basically, and getting to the point where you actually can share that without a whole box of Kleenex is quite extraordinary, I think. And I just think that there's a lot of healing going on for us, and just there is a heart to serve, and you don't always see that in every group that you're in. So I really do think that I feel like every time I speak, I'm relieved that I got through it, but there's also another level of freedom there. There's another level of, you created space for someone else to feel seen and heard. And I really think that is something we all focus on, is how do we create that space for the people we serve to feel seen and heard and start to believe that they have self-worth.
Love that. And being that Tammy and I work a lot behind the scenes, it's so interesting she used the word freedom, because that was going to be my next word. Because again, as I had the honor to sit and listen to all of you speak, how many times each of you used that word freedom in your conversation? Whether you were conscious of it or not, it was like every one of you used the word freedom. I was like, oh my God, they're all talking, again, just drawing on the idea that every one of you had very different topics, yet every one of you chose certain words that just showed up over and over again. So we're gonna talk a little bit about freedom. So we're gonna start with Abby. What's freedom mean for you?
Oh God. You know what's so interesting? Because freedom not being an emotion, it's not one that I've spent a ton of time, like, give me any emotion and I've like distilled that down energetically. And so, I mean, really just thinking about my own life, you know, thinking about it's a way of being carefree. You know, I think there's different ways to be free, you know, and certainly being a person of color. And, you know, I check off a lot of things, a lot of boxes, you know, being a woman, being queer, being, you know, biracial, you know, I'm betwixt and between in a lot of ways. And so freedom definitely can mean something different to me depending on which hat I'm wearing, to be quite honest. But I am very grateful that I don't have to worry about, I don't have to worry about financial freedom, in this point in my life. I am secure and I feel safe for, in my space, in my world. And I think that is a level of freedom that I haven't necessarily always had. Not even necessarily, cancel that sentence. I haven't always had that, and I've been able to build it. And so it's been a success, and that's been amazing. And I know that it's only going to grow from there. So for me, freedom is a gift.
I love that. I love that. And before we move on to the next one to share their insight to freedom, remember, for those of you who are watching us live, please go ahead and share this out. And of course, all my ladies, if you have not shared this out, please go ahead and share it. We want more people in the audience listening, because there's so much wisdom to be shared here. We don't want to miss out, even though we know it's going to be replayed. So moving on, PJ, what's freedom mean for you?
Means healing. Throughout life, I can relate with Miss Abby. I have a lot of boxes to check. Being in certain communities, you have to look at, what it is to you. But to me, it just means to be healed. I've carried a lot of baggage to myself, and dropping those loads to me is a relief. And that relief gives me a sense of freedom. I'm free from burdening myself with how others perceive me. I'm free of having to hold myself to expectations and allow myself to be happy with who I am and not care about those boxes. I love myself. That's why I can relate. I can really relate, because growing up, I'm a darker complected woman, and growing up in the 80s, they didn't like us dark skins, and I had to learn. I'm like, I'm beautiful. Look at this. Don't be jealous. That's, to me, is freedom to be able to say that, because there was a point where I couldn't be. She knows there's a point where we couldn't be happy with what we looked like, what our preferences were, what life we chose for ourselves. I grew up my family is very religious. I didn't agree with a lot of things that they believed in. So the ability for me to say, I don't necessarily believe the Bible that you're telling me to read. You can believe it. I have my own beliefs. I more like Buddhism. If you don't like it, you're free to not speak to me anymore and be okay with my decision. To me, that's freedom, to be happy with being who I am, where I am in my life, what I'm doing, and be okay with that. And financial freedom is also a plus.
Beautiful.
So that's what freedom is.
There we go. We have some common words again. Financial freedom, already spoken twice at this point. Kitty, how about you? What's freedom mean for you?
I am that I am, and that is enough. That is freedom to me, to really be in touch with that. I am that I am, and that is enough. Years ago, I had a 7th grade teacher teach, I'm only as free up to the next person. And in order for that freedom to grow, I contact many people and accept that they are as they are, and that is enough. And that is true freedom, not the scope and sequence. And I spent a lot of years. That's, by the way, the Virgo South Node, got to do a little astrology, is learning the places we've told ourselves we're not enough. And so that's what freedom is to me. It's that joy, it's that openness. I am that I am, and that is enough.
I love that. I love that. And Linda, for you, what does freedom mean?
I just also agree with what PJ said. Freedom is healing. Freedom is, I believe, clarity and wisdom. Just having that in your life. As many of us said, I've gone through challenges and everything that kind of held me back, but having freedom to understand, first of all, feng shui helped me to get clarity around my life and what was happening, and then bring about that freedom that I can be released from clutter and, struggling with relationships and having much harmony in my life. Stability with work, stability with relationships and stability with, especially with my parental relationships, my mom, and just much more of a strength in my life.
Love that. Tammy, see what you did? You brought up the word freedom, and now here we are. So what does freedom mean for you?
Well, it's interesting listening to everyone give their definitions, and I hadn't thought about the fact that I'm free to be who I am. And for example, I'm a military veteran. I don't have kids. There's things that make me very different than a lot of people, but that is okay because our differences are what make it beautiful. And but I hadn't really thought about the fact that that's my freedom is expressing who I am in many different facets, many different roles, as a girlfriend, well, this is kind of a funny at our house, but grandpa's girlfriend. But I enjoy that auntie role, right? And I don't have the same perspective. A couple days ago, I had a conversation with the cashier at the pharmacy, and she was taking a minute to talk with the kids that were in front of me. She's like, "Oh, I talk too much." And I said, "No," I said, "It's really important that those kids are seen and heard, and you're talking to them makes them feel important and valued." Anyway, and it was just like this philosophical conversation I did not anticipate, but it was such a vivid reminder to me of what it's like to not be seen and heard. And so the fact that someone was able to take that time, to me, there's some freedom in taking a moment and just acknowledging who's in front of you. So I think there's a lot of freedom in embracing who we are. And I'm a big fan of time freedom and drinking my coffee while it's hot. So there is that.
I love that, Tammy. And I'm going to answer this question too, because I know if I don't, this kitty will throw me under the bus. So yeah. So freedom for me is having the unlimited access of knowing that anything is possible. There's no restrictions. There is no limitations. I could do anything I want to do, and I could do it when I want to do it, because I'm in perfect alignment to what it is that I'm meant to be doing. Having the freedom, so there's no, well, I can't do this now because I could do it when I want to. And I'm learning more and more and more as working 70% of the time virtually, the freedom of time, the freedom of finances, the freedom of just being able to either close down my laptop and go take a nap, or open it all up and write an article. Whatever it is, I have the freedom to do it because there's no restrictions. There's no limitations because I don't allow them, because I have the freedom to be me, to show up the way I want to be, however which way I want to be. So I love that word freedom. I'm so glad it showed up with each and every one of you who spoke during the actual summit itself. So we're going to move on to another word that popped up, not as often as the joy and the freedom did, but it did pop up, which was journaling, writing the letter. Some of you spoke about during your journey that what helped you in the healing process was writing. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you had to write your healing journey. It could have been just writing like whatever. I know for me, writing's a big tool that I use in reference to either writing a list of all the things that I want to get done, writing a list of all the things I'm looking to throw away, writing a list of what crystals I want to use, whatever it is. So Tammy, for you, and I know for Tammy, this is a biggie. For you, how does writing play a role in regards to your journey?
Well, writing has always been a big part of, I guess, who I am. I started writing poetry when I was probably about 11 or so. And I remember starting journaling when I was about 13. And at the time, it was basically a way to release any emotions, the thoughts that I had about growing up in a hoarding situation, people that I knew. And so it really was a therapeutic way for me to express myself. And to this day, it still is that. It's very much a way to express myself. It's when I first started talking about hoarding, I didn't have the courage to put my face out there, for heaven's sakes. So I wrote a blog. And so and I also went through about 3 years of therapy and counseling. And so part of my journey there was journaling that, writing about it. We did something called Do Not Send letters, where you're able to express everything you need to say and don't send that. Perhaps you burn it, but it's a way for you to express any of your fear or anger and get it out. And at that time, I needed that. So writing has always been a big part of who I am. And I am working on a book. So that's a long process for me. But anyway, writing's always been a big piece of figuring things out. I'm also a big list person as well. So
Excellent, thank you. Linda, for you as a feng shui specialist in your world, personally and professionally, how does journaling play a role for you?
Two types of journaling. I do gratitude journaling in the mornings. There was Marie Forleo, and I started with Everything is Figure Outable. That's the name of her book. And it kind of sets the tone that if I have a problem, if I have a struggle, if something's going on, for me or my clients, that everything is figure outable. There's a way to figure it out and things will work out. And I also do, it's called 750 words, and it's typing up 750 words, which turns out to be 3 pages if it were handwritten. And sometimes I go from 750 words to maybe 1,000 or more. And it's just about my day, what's happening, what's on my mind, just getting my thoughts down. I do it first thing in the morning, so that way it's just like a brain dump, just getting everything that I was dreaming about or thinking about, contemplating anything, and just writing it down. And it's just wonderful because it saves it. And it's kind of a little challenge because it rates you for different days, and you're trying to keep a streak going. And my longest streak was about 104 days straight, not missing a day and everything. Because once you miss a day, you have to start all over again. So,
Wow.
but yeah, I really enjoy it.
Nice. Now, in regards to your writing, Linda, has any of that manifested into a book?
Well, I actually am working on a book, not that particular part of the chapters I've written on in my my journaling, but the book is separate. So, and some of it has. On my
Excellent. I
life.
love that. I love that idea of writing. What was the number of words? 700 what? What was the number of words that you were writing each night? 700 and what?
750. That's the goal.
Oh, okay. I love that. Yes. Maybe we can all take on that project every night and see how that goes. All right, Kitty, for you, excellent. Kitty, for you, how does journaling play a role for you?
It's played different roles, different times in my life. When I was 28, 29, I climbed in my car and traveled for 9 months. And I never missed a day of journaling. And it was a way to put my life outside of myself. And I journaled at different times. Right now, I'm using journaling in my daily readings. It's more of a channeling versus I used to just read it. And now I've taken on writing it down and see what I'm being told. So that's how I'm using any kind of journaling right now. As a matter of fact, I'm sitting here next to my journal. So
excellent. Love that. PJ, how about for you?
I use journaling more as reminders. I started journaling as affirmations to kind of show myself what I've done, to give myself more encouragement to uplift myself. Now I just kind of do it as a way to remind myself. Sometimes when I may be feeling down, again, like it was stated on my live or my summit that I lost my son. Sometimes I have to remind myself that he still loves me, that, you know, it wasn't my fault, or things that I use journaling as a way to uplift myself on the bad days. So, and then on the good days, I use it as a reminder as to what I need to remember when I do start to feel a little down. Because again, you know, dealing with a lot of trauma, you tend to have a lot of self-doubt. And I have to remind myself of the accomplishments that I made. You know, you have multiple college degrees, you've had good jobs, you know, you've traveled the world, you moved to Costa Rica, you know, a lot of things people generally haven't been able to accomplish. So I just use that more as an affirmation than anything, just kind of reminders, just little notes. Mine is more little notes that I write to myself.
I love that idea. Thank you. And Abby, for you, journaling.
When I started, I would say journaling was a lot like how many of these lovely women have talked about it: affirmations, gratitude, a way of just kind of like making sure that my mind was clear. And now I find myself doing a lot of villain journaling. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of this. It's basically where you like create this, or you find this inner villain inside of yourself and you allow them to have free reign for a minute or two. And it's been really cathartic, and it's been amazing to really see how real and how raw and how bold and how honest, how much more honest my like villain, because I like to see myself as a good person, and but I work in the emergency room, and you know, I see a lot of things, and I've seen a lot of things, especially since I was a nurse before COVID and during COVID and after COVID. And there are some things that the general society globally, not just in our country, would say that's actually not very nice to say. And so I found a lot of release in my letting my inner villain come out a little bit, and realize, you know what, she deserves a place too. She deserves a voice. And yeah, not everything that she has to say is very nice, and not everything that she has to say is necessarily for everybody else's ears. But you know what, I need to be able to honor that, and I don't want that getting stuck inside of me. And I think that that has been really incredibly beneficial for me. Just also, I'm a Scorpio rising, so I feel like it was just a way for my Scorpio to come out when my Virgo sun and my Pisces moon just tries to say, you know what, take a back seat.
Yeah, there you go. Totally get that. Yes, I love that. I love that. And I truly love like Linda's 750 words, and then of course Abby's villain coming out, so she can actually allow that energy to surface to the table. Now, for me, I began journaling back in the process of my spiritual journey starting, in reference to just finding words to work on releasing some of the traumas that I experienced. And due to the loss of my mom, journaling was really big for me. And the journaling actually helped me to write many of the books that I've written over the last couple of years. However, over the last, I'd say maybe 2 years, I don't journal as much. You know, I do more writing than journaling. So I had this beautiful book, which I still have, where I would jot down one word for the day, and whatever that word was, I would write about it. So in I guess in another way, that would be the process of journaling for me at that point in time. So I love how we just, again, all of us come in with these words, and how we're all using this this common energy together. So the next thing I want to bring into the conversation that showed up a bit was where's my next word? Resilience showed up a bit. And I think Tammy said that before, the word resilience. So let's go around the room again. We're going to start with Abby. What does resilience mean for you?
Resilience, I think, is just strength. You know, resilience is more of a feeling than I feel like it is necessarily something that any of us could be like, oh, that's where I'm being resilient right there. You know, we go through something and then we realize that that was hard, and it's after the fact when we're like, yeah, that was hard. Whew, we're good. Are we good now? We're good now. I'm good now, right? That's when we're like, oh, that was me being resilient, huh? You know. So I think it's just a strength. It's a strength to continue.
I love that. Love that. Kitty, for you, what's resilience mean?
Resilience, that was something I was very interested in when I was a teacher. Resilience is the ability for the human mind to decide to go on and to come back from. And studies of resilience are fascinating because they look for commonality. And the one thing that I want to thank all the ladies here for that is in the studies of resilience looking at children is somewhere, somebody, some stranger gave a message of worth. And the work that every single one does here is to give that message of worth and to have people tap into their resilience and not be taken by what's outside them, but really tap into the worth that's in them. So that's what it's about for me.
Thank you. Linda, for you, resilience.
Resilience is there's a lot of things. Right now, for me, resilience is the strength to continue going on when things don't seem to be going well in your life. And tremendously for my whole life, I've been really proud of myself because I have resilience. And like I said, in both professional and also personal life.
Excellent. Thank you. PJ, for you, resilience. Before even PJ answers that question,
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I said before you even answer that question, what I like to say regarding PJ with resilience, I think she's like Little Lady, the example. I mean, if you had an opportunity to listen to her talk, and if you did not, I encourage you to go and listen to her talk. I also encourage you to go and get her book, because the journey that she has really walked and was determined and strong enough and courageous enough to share. That is resilience in itself. So that's my 2 cents on PJ. PJ, what's your story about resilience?
I'm sorry. You didn't cry. It's just that, I mean, like she said, I've gone through a lot in my life. I'm from a childhood. Again, I died. If you guys haven't heard my story, from infancy. You know, I was poisoned as a newborn in the hospital the first 10 months of my life, died 3 times. Had my ribs broken by the time I was 5, been being beat, drugs, raped, kicked, whatever you could think of my whole life, you know. And I never gave up. I fought even when I didn't think I had it in me to fight. I never wanted to allow myself to go through the things. And so even when I couldn't get away, I fought to get away. I made sure that my children did not have to suffer the way I suffered. I made sure that even when I had no one, that I didn't allow myself to be broken. And I got up every day. I worked. I fought to get to school, even when I wasn't allowed. I would do it behind, you know, my abuser's back. To me, resilience is fighting to reach a common goal. Wherever that goal is, don't ever give up on yourself. You are capable of doing whatever goals you set your mind to. Like Miss Linda said, sometimes we don't always have it in us to want to give up. Those 750 words a night, she just don't understand. She gave me a goal, you know, because I did write a book. I am writing another book. I'm a part of an anthology right now. My goal is to reach a community of individuals who were like me, who felt like they had nothing, they had no one, they had to be ashamed of who they were, and help them get up to hold their hand and walk them through in a way that no one was there for me. And resilience is being able to do it alone and still getting up and doing it as hard as you can, the best you can, and reaching your goals, and knowing that no one will always be there to hold your hand. Sometimes you have to get up and fight. And not in a, fist fight. I've had to do that in my life too, but fight everything, and outside and inside, because there's always going to be things out there to tear you down. There's always going to be people out there to try to make you have doubt in yourself. When you believe in yourself, that's the most resilience you can ever have, is believing in yourself and knowing that you can get through the darkest, hardest times. And even if what you are the goals you're trying to reach does not work, maybe that's not your purpose, to reevaluate, having the strength to reevaluate and see what your purpose is, and not give up on yourself because that one goal didn't go through. So I can talk about resilience forever, so I'm going to shut up now because I'll have for 3 hours talking about resilience, because I can give so many examples of how I wanted to give up, lying bloody and beaten in an alley, at 14. I got up, went to school the next day and got good grades. So, I mean,
Yes.
resilience can mean a lot to a lot of people, but to me, resilience means everything. Because without resilience, I don't know if I would be here today to share my story.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. Now, as PJ shares her story about resilience based on her journey, before I bring Tammy up for her to share her story on resilience, because again, Tammy and I do a lot of work behind the scenes, she's got a very different story on resilience, and it's very powerful on all the things she's pushing through personally and professionally. So, Tammy, what does resilience mean for you?
Well, I think fundamentally, it is the ability to keep getting up every time you get knocked down. And often you're the person that has to lift yourself up by whatever means you have available. And I just keep thinking of the days when you feel like you can't take one more punch in the teeth. Is the day, one more thing happens and you think, what the hell is going on here? And you just have to figure out the reason why you're going to get up again. And often, there's days when you think, well, I'm it, right? There's nobody else that's doing this. There's no one else that's going to show up in this way. And that can be overwhelming. But on the flip side of that, it's like, yeah, you're right. Who else is going to show up and talk about it this way? Who else is going to share their experiences? I mean, I had on the surface, it might have looked like I had an okay upbringing, but if you dug a little deeper, you'd see that we didn't have running water. We had, my younger brother was in a wheelchair. Like there was these things that made me feel weird. And so I escaped that by deciding I was going to live like that. And I listened to what PJ was talking about. And the thing that really came out for me was around the fact that when we heal our trauma, we're healing generational trauma. We are healing the things that other people couldn't heal. Ella talked a little bit about the mental health part and how we didn't talk about it. And we still barely talk about it without some sort of glance or eye roll. So I don't think I knew. There's so many things I didn't know that I learned much later in life that helped me on the journey. But because there's all that trauma that we're having to deal with, we are healing ourselves. We're also making it better for the future generations by talking about it, by bringing it to light, by shedding our skins. I know that's something Abby talked about and the patterns that we're breaking that Kitty talks about, and Linda with your space and making it more how you want it to be. Like, what kind of life do you want to create? And part of that is healing trauma. And by the way, hoarding is a lot about trauma. There's a lot of, there's stuff, but the trauma underneath all that is what the actual problem is. And until we can start addressing some of those underlying issues, we aren't going to get anywhere. And now it's my turn to be quiet because I could go on about that.
I love it. I love when we ask the question and the answer is endless, because it isn't endless. And of course, I'll give you my 2 cents because I know Katie. She's just there with her whip. So for me, resilience is really about the ability to keep going, even when it gets hard. Like for example, when I was in the process of getting my associate's and bachelor's degree, which I got them pretty much in the same time frame. It took me 5 years to complete it, but it was this practice of running my own business, obviously taking care of my daughter, and making sure that at midnight, when most people would be going to sleep, I would set my alarm clock. So this way I can get up at midnight and work on those papers that needed to be done. Because a big portion of my degree was based on life experience. I can't even tell you how many credits I wrote about in regards to my life experience to get my degrees. And that determination, no matter how tired it was a matter that it needed to be done, because in my mind, when in theory, the right time of when one would go to college, which I did go to college right after high school, but I enjoyed working just so much more. I enjoyed getting that check so much more that I was not thrilled with going to school, so I decided not to. But somewhere along the line in my late 30s, early 40s, I got that itch that I wanted to get that degree. I wanted to have the associates, to have the bachelor's. So I was like, well, in order to do this, and it wasn't about going to traditional school. I was not going to sit and take academic courses. Blah. I was going to write about my life story in reference to all that I've done based on my life experiences. And that meant having to get up midnight, 2 hours every night to get those papers done. The resilience of doing it. The resilience of, I'm sure most of you know, being a competitive natural bodybuilder. That resilience to put myself in that, we'll use the word insanity, of transforming my physical body, go into a diet that now I would not even suggest anybody to ever put their bodies under, but I did it because there was a vision I had, not so much for the purpose of being in that type of shape, but recognizing that going through that transformation would help me help other women go through their mind, body, and spiritual transformation through all of what I've gone through. So just being able to keep myself going, being my own cheerleader to like root myself on to go and go and go, gave me the resilience to, when I didn't want to do it, how to get done, which makes me, for as many would say, makes me a good person to be the accountability coach. If you want something to get done, you're not quite sure you're going to do it, call on me and I'm going to make sure you get it done. So all that being said, Abby, I got you on the accountability, right? On the resilience, right? Perfect. I wanted to make sure I didn't want to skip you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pull a card. I want to see what word comes out, and then we're going to go around the room to see what that word means for everybody as we're coming to the end of our panel discussion. Let's see what we all need to know. And it also gives us a chance to just take a breath because it was an interesting, lovely evening of conversation, sharing our thoughts, all that showed up. Let's see. I love this word. The word is creativity. Creativity. The color is solar plexus, which is it really is about the trust and having faith that you are on the right path with your resilience, on the right path with joy, on the right path with freedom. So trusting that journey. The number 66, and in a little while I'm gonna have Kitty talk a little bit about astrology based on our number 6, because it's so perfectly aligned where our South Node is. And whether you understand the language of astrology or not, no worries. She's going to keep it to the point so you'll understand. So that 6-6 energy in numerology is based on being the healer. And every one of us has demonstrated that we are healing ourselves through our journeys, and that we are perfect leaders to help heal others. And when we use the word heal, it's not that we heal anybody. We actually give them the tools, the space, and the courage for them to work on healing. And that's what we're all doing right now, is we're literally letting others know that, yes, it's okay to share your story. Yes, it's okay to let somebody know that this has happened. You are not the only person this has happened to. There's so many. And I know there's so many people I speak to on a daily basis where I hear, well, I don't want to share my story because I don't want anybody to think, worse of me. And when they do share their story, they realize, like, wow, how many other people have experienced something similar. So that's the healing process. The double six is the 12 energy. And I like to say the 12 energy is like our portal between starting something new and recognizing that we have a community of people that we can come together in, just like we are here. Every one of you, you're not just speakers. You're not just someone that came on the panel for a few days and talked about your journey. You're all now in this energy. You're all connected. And I'm hoping that you're going to continue staying connected, because every one of you can do something for the other to grow and expand. So that's that partnership, that agreement that you all have. That 12 is where we are right now based on the sun's energy of Pisces, where we are all intuitive beings and we're all working through the higher consciousness through the journeys we're on. So with that being said, we're going to talk about creativity in a moment. But Kitty, bring in a little bit more on the Pisces Virgo energy, because that 6 represents Virgo, the 12 represents Pisces. What a perfect combination.
Well, and the solar plexus is Jupiter. It's about our expansion. And the 6th house energy, which is Virgo, is about the patterns we have developed, what serves us, and what we're ready to let go of in those, what really is the puzzle pieces that we're building in the bigger picture. That's what Virgo is. Virgo is a solution generating energy. What pieces do I need? What picture do I want to build? And it happens to be the house of service. So how apropos for this group. When we talked about resilience, self-love, everybody here has had a huge journey with self-worth and self-love. And then 12, 6 and 6 being 12, is all about the uncovering. That's that Pisces energy. We're moving out of the Pisces age of having to suffer and actually looking at how together in this Aquarian age we work together. But it is the house of secret uncovering, so it makes perfect sense that they're opposite of each other, because in the flow, which is Pisces, it's uncovering those things that stop us and how we put them together. And of course, ultimately it's a 3, which is how do we communicate it and how do we experience our life.
I love that. Yes. And every one of us over here, we're all very much connected. Like, as Abby just mentioned, Abby, your moon is Pisces, if I heard you correctly. So yes, so you and I are connected because my son is Pisces. And I know that Kitty has her South Node in Pisces, so there's a connection there. Linda and PJ, if I'm correct, are both Geminis?
No, I'm a Taurus.
Why did I think you were Gemini? Oh my God. I don't know why I thought you were Gemini. So yes. And of course we have Tammy, who is oh my God, she's got a load of Capricorn in her chart. It's ridiculous. So we all are very much connected on this journey that we're here to do. So going around the room one last time, PJ, for you, what does creativity mean?
Creativity means to me is like a blank slate. It's like opportunity. When you are being creative, you have an opportunity to see. When you are being in a creative state, you're making something that's conforming to you. It's like words cannot. It's in my brain, but it's not coming out of my mouth. Opportunity. But there you go. The opportunities are limitless for you. You can draw, you can color, you can paint, you can do whatever you want, but you have control because it's your palette. It's for you to create. It's individuality. Because I'm like you said, I'm a Gemini, so I go all over the place. I'm bouncing. That's what's bouncing in my. I'm trying to get to like the main thing that I'm trying to say, and it's not coming out right. But that's basically what it is for me. It's creativity, and it's abundance. It's ability to be able to make something with your own thoughts with your own mind, with your own hands, or however you want. Like I created my podcast to help individuals. I was being creative in how I formatted it, and now it's going to be whatever I need it to be. I know it didn't come out right, you guys. I'm sorry. That kind of
It came out exactly how it needed to.
yeah, my brain is in my brain. It makes sense when it comes out. It just blah. But that's basically what it's an openness. It's opportunity. That's what creativity means for me.
Perfect. Tammy, for you, creativity.
I think it has a lot to do with exploring. Like I never really thought of myself as a creative person, like, which is when I look back on it now, I'm like, why not? But because I have painted, I have drawn, I started a podcast, and I essentially did the same thing. I kind of turned it into what I needed it to be. I love to cook. I like to see, I want to try different things. And so I think it's a lot about how you choose to live. And I think we evolve over time into different things. And for me, it's also very seasonal. I love to see the flowers come up that I've planted in the garden. But I also love to see that fat cinnamon roll also that I've created. So, but I think you don't have to limit yourself with creativity, and it's a way to explore different things.
Awesome. Thank you. Linda, creativity. What does it mean for you?
Creativity means the way of expressing myself. I've always loved being creative from as a child, just painting and drawing. One of the paintings I've done a few years ago, that's in back of me. I painted that, one of those online. Well, that was actually during COVID, so we couldn't go anywhere. So I actually took one of the classes online, where it was called Paint Night. So that was a lot of fun, and I miss doing it because it's one of my passions to paint and create things, and whether it's creating a vision board as I did today, or creating origami, just creating things with my hands, and just being just creating something that just will flourish into something beautiful.
Perfect. Love it. Abby, creativity. What does it mean for you?
Creativity to me means figuring out the God self inside of you. I think of, whenever I think of the word creative, my brain immediately goes to creator and being the creator. And I think so often what I end up having to teach my clients is to honor and to embrace, more so than honor, their God self, and not shying away from that, not wanting to separate themselves from that it's absolutely creator's wish for us to see ourselves be as grand as it already knows that we can be, that it created all of this, and therefore we created all of this, and we are capable of anything and everything. And so it's really about reaching heights that we never thought possible, and that we can rejoice in that, and that we can embrace that, and we don't have to be afraid of that. And I think the thing that really comes through too is this quote, and I wish that I could remember the full name, and if I try, I'm going to butcher it, but I know that at least one of these ladies is going to know it. I'm going to sort of age myself here by saying that I remember it only because of the movie Coach Carter. when the coach keeps asking his players, what are you most afraid of? Or what is your greatest fear? And it's our light, not our darkness, that we are most afraid of, right? It's that whole quote. That is us truly being able to become our creator. So that's what I think about that. I wanted to say thank you so much for letting me be on this. I do have to jet. I'm so sorry.
Well, before you do jet, if you could just share with everybody your contact, website, email, so they can reach you.
Yes, of course. I'm kidding. I'm so sorry, because I'm like throwing this in and then you're going to give your thing. I apologize, everyone. breathoflifellc.com is my website. And find me on Instagram at breathoflife_healer.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We appreciate you. Kitty.
Well, it's funny because my answer is very similar to hers. Creation comes from creator, and we were all given, own the spark. We are the creator, and that is what we're charged to do in this life, whatever that looks like. And interestingly enough, the house of creativity is the fifth house, which is the house of the human, the house of the self, the house that it's about our son, what moves us forward. So we're given this spark. I use the word Gus. Gus stands for God, universe, source, or spirit. Gus gives us this energy to bring forth, and what we do with it is exactly what we've been charged on this earth to do, to create. It is the spark that joins us all, and it is each of us has our own spark, but it's always connected. So that's what. Thank you, Gus. Or thank you guys internally. So
I love that. And I'm gonna skip out on this one only because we're a little late on time because we were just trying to get everybody on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to send everybody backstage. I'm going to keep one person on for now. This is going to be an opportunity for each one of you to share your website, email address, so everybody who wants to reach out to you can. Kitty, I'm going to keep you on. I'm going to send everybody else backstage. And once you come off, once I'm done, if you want to leave and come off of it, you're welcome to. You don't have to stick around. It's up to you. Kitty, share who you share your website, email, TikTok, whatever it is you have. Let everybody know who you are and how.
It's all the same. Storytelling Astrologist, and you can write storytellingastrologist@gmail.com. I'm on TikTok, Facebook. I run a other group called Intuition of the Soul, and actually we're broadcasting on that right now. I invite all the ladies who are here. It's a free platform to share your programs, your information. That's what it's for. But you can find me at storytellingastrologist@gmail.com. You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, all under that. So
thank you, Kitty, so much for being here, being the light that you are, and not being afraid to step into your light. So thank you.
Namaste.
Tammy, give us all your insight, all your information, website, email, whatever it is you have, give it to us.
So my website is thehoardingsolution.com. I can be reached at thehoardingsolution@gmail.com. And I am on TikTok and Instagram as well at The Hoarding Solution. I'm on Facebook. I have a group, The Hoarding Solution group, where we come together to talk about some of these issues in a very direct way. And I'm happy to connect, and I'm really thankful for being a part of this panel.
And Tammy, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. And as I always tell you, thank you so much for sharing all about everything dealing with hoarding and decluttering. It's such an important topic, and I thank you for your journey that you had to experience. You can share what you share. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Linda, let us know how we can reach you.
My website is Feng Shui, www, of course, fengshuiinspirations.com, and my email address is fengshuiinspirations888@gmail.com. And I have a group page on Facebook. I don't remember. I believe it's Feng Shui Inspirations also. And I can also be found on Instagram at Feng Shui Inspirations.
And Linda, thank you so much for all that you share and all that I've learned through Feng Shui, from learning under you and how you've changed my life with Feng Shui. So thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, Joanne. Blessings to you. Thank you so much for being here.
Same to you. I had to save you for last.
No worries.
I had to save you for last. Share how everybody can reach you. I also would like for you to share how they can get your book as well, because I know you have that amazing solo book. Please share it out.
Well, I have a link tree with all of my information, but the best way to get to my link tree is through my Facebook at PJ Jones or my Instagram at PJ_@ spelled out, not the @ _ Soulful Resilience. And if you look at my bio, you'll find my link tree where you can access from all of my platforms, my YouTube page, my podcast, and also where you can get my book. But you can find it on Amazon. It's A Place to Belong by Pari, Pari Jasper, Jasper. And that's where you can find my story. You're gonna on my link tree, you can also see my bio. Talks about everything that I've gone through, not as in depth as my book. Trigger warning for anyone who does buy the book. It's not for the faint of heart. It's very graphic and detailed.
Well, PJ, it's been a pleasure, and I'll continue to follow your journey and witness your growth and all that you share. So thank you so much for being here.
Having me. Thank you so much, Rev.
All right, so there you have it, everybody. You had an opportunity to check out most of the speakers. We missed one. That's okay. You got all the amazing speakers, 5 of 6. And if you did not get a chance to check out their talks, please do. It's available on my YouTube channel. I will be posting as much as the information that I can regarding all of our speakers, and every one of them shared how you can get in contact with them. If you did not get a chance to jot that down, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to getting you the information. So all that being said, I want to thank you all so much for spending your time, whether you're watching with us live or on the replay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Until we all meet again, have an amazing Saturday. And remember that today is the 22nd. Today is the day that you want to be that master builder and focus on what it is you are building. Will it be coming from your resilience, joy, or freedom, or all of the above? Until we meet again, bye-bye for now.